Chapter: The Beginning of Creation.
Picture the beginning. No earth. Matter not yet reflecting the universal light. However, as now, the universe was filled with a great number of different energies. In the darkness, the living essences of the energies thought, and in the darkness they created. They did not need an external source of light. They shone from within and for themselves. Each had everything: thought, feeling, the energy of aspiration. Still there were differences among them. In each, one energy predominated over all the others. As now the universe contained the essence of destruction, and the essence that creates life. Others had many shades of different feelings, similar to human feelings. Those universal essences simply could not communicate with each other. Inside each essence, the many energies were creating first languid, then suddenly lightning-quick movement. What was created within immediately destroyed itself. Their pulsation did not alter the cosmos. It could not be seen by anyone, and each believed that it was all alone in space. Alone. The lack of clarity as to their predestination would not let them make imperishable a creation that could bring satisfaction. This is why the pulsation remained in this timeless, limitless space, but there was no general, universal movement. All of a sudden, communication touched everyone in an impulse. Everyone was touched simultaneously by the vast universe. Among the sets of energies of those living, one suddenly shed light on the others. That set was either very old or very young, although one cannot say in ordinary words. It arose out of the vacuum or out of the sparks of everything one can think of, it doesn't matter. That set strongly resembled man, the man who lives today. It resembled his second I, the eternal holy self, not the material self. The energies of his aspirations and living dreams began for the first time to lightly touch everything real in the universe. And he alone was so ardent that he set all feelings in motion. The sounds of communication were heard in the universe for the first time. And if the first sounds were translated into modern words, then we would sense the meaning of the questions and answers. From all sides of the vast universe, one question, uttered by all, sped to him alone.
What do you desire so ardently?
In reply, he confidently in his dream said,
Joint creation and joy for all from its contemplation.
What can joy bring for all?
Birth.
What do you mean birth? Each has had self-sufficiency for a long time.
Birth, in which parts of everything are included.
How can everything be destroyed and created be united into one?
Opposing energies, having first balanced them in yourself.
Who is capable of such a thing?
I am.
But there is the energy of doubt. Doubt calls on you and destroys the many different energies and tears you to shreds. No one can hold opposites in a single whole.
There's also the energy of confidence. Confidence and doubt, when they are equal, help precision and beauty for the future creation.
What can you call yourself?
I am God. I can take in particles of all your energies. I will persist. I will create. Creation will bring joy for the entire universe.
The multitudes and the whole universe released all the essences of their energies into him alone simultaneously. Each aspired to predominate over all so that it would be embodied supreme. So began the great battle of all the universal energies. No magnitude of time, no measure can characterize the scale of this battle. Calm ensued only when everyone had been illuminated by the awareness that nothing can be higher and stronger than the single universal energy, the energy of the divine dream. God possesses the energy of the dream. He was able to perceive everything inside him, balance everything, and pacify it, and he began to create. Still creating in himself, still creating future creations in himself, he cultivated each detail with indefinable speed. He thought through the interconnection to everything for each creation. He did everything alone, alone in the vast universal darkness. Alone in himself, he accelerated the movement of all the universal energies. Not knowing the outcome frightened everyone and distanced them from the Creator. The Creator ended up in a vacuum, and the vacuum was expanding. There was the cold of dying. There was fright and alienation around him. But he, alone, already saw the beautiful dawns, heard the singing of birds, and smelled the blooming fragrance. Alone, he used his ardent dream to produce beautiful creations.
Stop. You are in a vacuum. You are going to explode. How can you hold the energies inside you? You have nothing to help you keep a grasp on them, and you will explode. But if you have a moment, stop. Quietly release your creative energies.
My dreams, I will not betray them. For them I will continue to grasp and accelerate my energies. In my dreams, through the grass and among the flowers, I see the bustle of ants and the hen-eagles boldly soaring, teaching her chicks to fly.
With his unknowable energy, God sped up within himself the movement of the entire universe's energy. In his soul, inspiration was squeezed into a grain, and suddenly he felt a touch. From all sides, everywhere, the touch singed him with an unknown energy, and immediately withdrew, warming with its warmth at a distance, filling him with some new force. Everything that had been a vacuum suddenly began to shine.
Who are you? What kind of energy?
I am the energy of love and inspiration.
Your particle is in me. It alone proved capable of holding back the energy of contempt, hatred, and malice.
You are God. Your energy, the dream of your soul, was able to bring everything into harmony. If my particle helped this along, then listen to me, O God, and you will be able to help me.
What do you want? Why have you touched me with the full force of your fire?
I realized that I am love. I cannot use only a particle. I want to give my entire self to your soul. I know you will not let all of me in order not to destroy the harmony of good and evil, but I will fill the vacuum around you. I will warm everything inside and around you. The universal cold and gloom will not touch you.
What is happening? What? You are shining even more powerfully.
Not I myself. This is your energy, your soul. I merely reflect it, and the reflection returns to your next.
Desperate and desirous, God cried out, inspired by love.
Everything is speeding up. Everything inside me is stirring. How beautiful inspiration is. Let the dreams of my creation come to pass in love.
Chapter. Your appearance for the first time.
The Earth, the visible planet, arose, the core of all the universe and the center of everything. The Earth. Suddenly you could see around it the stars, the sun and moon. The invisible creative light coming from the Earth found its reflection in them. For the first time in the universe, a new plane of existence appeared, a material plane, and it glowed. No one and nothing from the instant the Earth appeared possessed visible matter. The Earth was in contact with everything in the universe but was also in and of itself. It was a self-sufficient creation. What grows and lives, what swam and flew did not die, disappeared nowhere. Even out of the decay came the mosquito, and a different life fed on the mosquito, and everything merged into a single beautiful life. All the universal essences began to look at the Earth in perplexity and admiration. The Earth was in contact with everything, but no one was given to touch it. Inspiration mounted inside God. In the light, the vacuum filled love. The divine essence altered its outlines, and the divine essence took on the shapes the human body has now. Divine thought worked outside of speed and time. Inspired and illuminated, it drove all the energies of its thought into eternity and created. There was one more invisible creation still inside it. Suddenly the illumination flared up, and the energy of love shuddered, as if singed, with new heat. God exclaimed in joyous admiration,
Look, universe, look! Here is my son! Man, he's standing on earth, he is material. In him are particles of all the universal energies. He lives on all levels of being. He is my likeness and image, and in him are particles of all your energies. So love him, love him. My Son will bring joy to all there is. He is creation. He is birth. He is everything of everyone. He will create a new creation, and his continuous rebirth will stretch out infinitely. When he is one, and when he is multiplied many times over, he, emanating an invisible light, merging into his single whole, will govern the universe. He will give the joy of life to everything. I have given him everything, and in the future I will also give him what I have conceived. Thus, for the first time, you alone are standing on the beautiful earth.
Anastasia concluded her story. Who are you talking about? Me.
You, Vladimir, and also whoever comes into contact with this written line.
Anastasia, how can that be? Here you have a total incongruity. How can all those readings stand there where it is said that only one stood? The Bible talks about this too. First there was one, and his name was Adam. Even you said that God created one.
That's all correct, Vladimir. But look, we all came out of the one. His particle, the information placed in him and all others born on earth, was implanted. And if by will of thought you cast off the weight of your vain cares, you will feel the sensations of those preserved to this day in the small particle. It was there, and it remembers everything. It is in you now and in every living person on earth. Let it reveal itself. Sense what you saw, and you who are now reading this line, what you saw at the beginning of your journey.
That's great. So it turns out that everything living right now on this earth was at the very beginning.
Yes, but on this earth, not that one. The earth just had a different look.
What can you call all of us simultaneously?
You're more used to hearing the name Adam, right? I will use that, but you must imagine that it is you. Moreover, each person should imagine himself by this name. I will help the presentation a little with words.
Please, I still have a fairly poor picture of myself in those times.
To make it easier, imagine yourself entering a garden as spring turns to summer. And in that garden you find the fruits of autumn. In it are beings you are seeing for the first time. It is hard to take it all in at a glance when everything is new, and in each is perfection. But remember the first time you saw a flower, Adam. Your attention rested on the flower, on the very little flower. Cornflower blue, the petal shaped smooth, consisting of lines. The flower's petals glowed slightly, they seemed to reflect the sky's light. And you, Adam, you sat down by the flower, admiring the creation. But however much you looked at the flower, the vision of the flower changed. A breeze rocked the flower on its thin stem, caressing it, and the petals rustled under the sun's rays, changing the light's angle of reflection, changing its very tender petals half a tone. The petals would tremble in the breeze, then, as in greeting, wave at man, then seem to conduct the music playing in your soul. The subtlest fragrance rushed from the flower to embrace you, man. Suddenly Adam heard a mighty roar. He rose up and turned to face the sound. In the distance stood an enormous lion and lioness. The lion's shout proclaimed its presence to the surroundings. Adam began to look at the handsome and mighty figure crowned with a thick mane. And when the lion saw Adam, the beast raced at him in mighty leaps, nor did the lioness lag behind. Adam admired the play of their mighty muscles. The beast came to a stop 3 meters away from Adam. Man's gaze caressed them. Bliss emanated from man. The caressed lion dropped to the ground in bliss, and the lioness lay down beside him. She did not stir, so as not to disturb the warm, grace-filled light coming to them from man. Adam combed the lion's mane with his fingers, examined and touched the claws of his powerful paw, touched his white fangs with his hand, and smiled when the lion purred blissfully.
Anastasia, what was that light that came from man in the beginning, so that the lion didn't tear him to pieces? Why doesn't light come from man now? No one glows now.
Vladimir, haven't you noticed a great distinction even now? Man's gaze distinguishes everything earthly, the little blade of grass, the ferocious beast, and the stone, with delayed thought. It is mysterious and puzzling, and filled with inexplicable force. Man's gaze can both caress and also shroud everything alive in the chill of destruction. Tell me, for example, haven't you ever been warmed by someone's gaze? Or perhaps have you had an unpleasant feeling inside from certain eyes?
Yes, basically I have. Sometimes you feel as though someone is looking at you. Looking pleasantly or not very.
There, you see. That means you know that a caressing gaze will create a pleasant warmth inside you, and a different gaze brings destruction, a chill. But in the first days, man's gaze was many times more powerful. The Creator made it so that everything living strove to be warmed by this gaze.
Has all the power of man's gaze gone?
Not all. Enough of it remains, but vanity, superficial thinking, a different speed of thought, a false concept of the essence, and sluggish apprehension cloud the gaze and keep that which everyone expects from man from being revealed. Each person holds his soul's warmth inside. If only it were all revealed in everyone. All waking reality could be transformed into a beautiful primordial garden.
For all people, as it was in the beginning for Adam, could such a thing really come to be?
Everything can come to be, and this is what human thought strives for, merging from all into one. When Adam was alone, the power of his thought was the same as all humanity's right now.
Oh-ho? Is this why the lion was afraid of him?
The lion was not afraid of man. The lion was bowing to his grace-filled light. Everything there is strives to know grace, which man alone can create. For this, everything, and not only on earth, is prepared to sense man as a friend, brother, God. Parents always strive to instill all the best abilities in their children. Only parents sincerely want their children's ability to exceed theirs. The Creator gave man, his son, in abundance everything to which he himself had striven in a burst of inspiration. If everyone is capable of understanding that God is perfect, then let everyone feel with the feelings of parents, everything God the parent strove to create for his child, his beloved son man. How not to fear responsibility, and how to bind oneself forever to God, and not renounce his creation, having said the words that have reached us after millions of years. He is my son, man. He is my image, my likeness.
So you mean God wanted his son, his creation, well man, to be stronger than he was?
The aspirations of all parents confirm this.
So Adam on the very first day vindicated God's dreams? What did he do after he encountered the lion?
Adam strove to know all that is, and to give each creature a name and purpose. Sometimes he solved the task quickly. Sometimes he spent a long time on it. How hard he tried, for example, on his first day, before nightfall, to determine a purpose for the brontosaurus, but he couldn't. And so all the brontosauruses vanished from the earth.
Vanished? Why?
They vanished because man did not give them a purpose.
And brontosauruses, are those the ones that are several times larger than elephants?
Yes, they are larger than elephants, and they had small wings and a small head on a long neck. They could also breathe fire.
Like in the fairy tale. The dragon Gorenik, for example, breathed fire too in the fairy tales. But that's in fairy tales, not real life.
Sometimes fairy tales talk about past reality allegorically, and sometimes precisely.
Is that so? But what was the monster made of? How can a living animal breathe fire? Or is the fire an allegory? For instance, did the monster breathe malice?
The huge brontosaurus was good, not bad. Its outward volume served to ease its weight.
How can a great volume serve to ease weight?
The more a balloon is filled with lighter air, the lighter it is.
What does a brontosaurus have to do with this? It's not a balloon.
The brontosaurus was an enormous living sphere. The construction of its skeleton was light, and his internal organs small. Inside, like in a balloon, the emptiness was filled constantly with gas, which is lighter than air. If the brontosaurus took a little jump and flapped its wings, it could fly a short way. When there was an excess of gas, it exhaled it through its mouth. Flint light fangs poked from its mouth, and their friction could create a spark, and the gas coming out of the belly would ignite and flame would burst from its mouth.
That's great. Wait, who kept it filled with gas?
I'm telling you, Vladimir, the gas was produced inside when it digested its food.
That can't be. There is only natural gas in the bowels of the earth. They take it out of there and then fill balloons with the gas or send them to stoves through pipes to the kitchen. But this is from food? It's all that simple?
Yes, it is.
I don't believe in that simplicity, or I don't think anyone is going to believe it. In fact, everything you said is doubtful, and people will doubt not only what you said about the Brontosaurus, but everything else. So I'm not going to write about this.
Vladimir, do you think I can be wrong, that I can lie?
I don't know about lying, but about you being wrong about the gas, that's for sure.
I'm not wrong.
Prove it.
Vladimir, your stomach and other people's produce the same kind of gas today.
That can't be.
You verify it. Go and light it when it comes out of you.
How out of me? Where? Light it where? Anastasia burst out laughing and through her laughter said,
You're just like a child. Think yourself this is an intimate experiment.
I thought about this gas from time to time. Why did it nag at me so? Eventually I decided to conduct the experiment. After I got back from seeing Anastasia, it burns. I remember everything she said about Adam's first days, or our first days, with increasing interest. I feel that for some reason we have forgotten to take something from them into today, or only I forgot. Actually, let each person decide everything for himself when he finds out how man's first day went. Here is how Anastasia spoke of it.
End of chapter. Join us for the next segment of Co-Creation, Book 4 of the Ringing Cedars series, The First Day.